Welcome back to the Nighthammer's Let's Play of Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. We're going to continue on from last episode, where we were beginning to investigate the inside of a house. Gunfire was going on. These guys seem to have been just stalking me for some reason. They seem to know who I am, and they seem to really want me there. When last we left off, we were hearing some weird stuff coming from the basement. If I can remember where the basement is. Yeah, here it is. That closed behind us. Whoa.
Well, that's just swell.
What's this?
He's dead. The beam must have fallen and crushed his skull.
Okay, that's what it looks like.
My God, there are bodies buried in the walls.
Actually, that's something I never realized in my last couple of playthroughs, actually. Sorry for my mouse jumping around. I'm actually having some frame rate issues again. I shouldn't be having frame rate issues with this game. Whoa. Where's my sanity?
Medical charts on the human anatomy.
Okay. Wow, this looks like a morgue.
Dead bodies, and plenty of them. Something dreadful has been going on down here. From the markings, he must have been one of their own. I wonder if he volunteered. Seems like these cabinets are used for storing chemicals and medical equipment.
What is this? What the shit is that?
His beating heart.
What?
The contraption above seems to be controlling his breathing. Looks like his stomach.
It's not connected to anything, so what?
Looks like his brain. I wonder what those wires are for. This pipe must drain the waste from his intestines. Looks like his kidneys. They're moving around in all that liquid. Nope, nothing of interest.
Nothing of interest with the... What is this?
I've never seen equipment like this before.
Nice up this shit. Ooh.
Ah! It's too hot to pick up. Good God! What the hell
With
is
all
all
his organs
this?
removed, they seem to be functional. He seems to still be alive. And that goes deeper. This looks like a button. What does the button do?
Oh shit!
Well...
The crystal's still warm.
Okay. I guess he's dead now.
At least he's out of his misery.
Yeah.
tunnel feels like it's gonna collapse at any moment. It's too hot to touch. I think it's being used as a power source for the
That
machine.
actually doesn't look like any rock of this earth either. What is all this? Wait a minute, that last episode, the drawing of that giant machine, that schematic, actually looks like it was a schematic for this. Have they been building this? And what for?
It looks like something's been removed from it.
This looks like one of the crystal holders, so throw a crystal in there. And another one of these weird buttons. What the? It's a trap! Oh my god, it's a resonance cascade. Get out of here, we're not Gordon Freeman. What the? What is that? Have I just summoned a Yith? Get away from it. Get away from it. Get away from it. Oh no, oh no. And that was a great game, guys. Thanks for playing Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth with me. Oh, that's not all of it. But actually, a little bit about the great race of Yith. I actually feel I can talk about that now. I don't think it's really spoilerish, but well, it kind of is.
It's been more than 6 years since I entered that strange house in Boston. But to me, it was just 5 months ago. Amnesia, the doctors called it. Probably brought on by acute mental stress.
Yeah, I'd say we saw some stressful things.
I remember
down there.
investigating the far side of the library. There was screaming. According to the police report, they had searched the house for hours, only to find me later collapsed on the floor. When my eyes opened and I spoke, my colleagues recoiled in fear. There was something unnatural in my voice and blank gaze.
Recommended reading.
They committed me to
Shadow Out of
Arkham Asylum, where I was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia. As it became clear that I presented no danger to either myself or others, I was released from the asylum's care. I have learned little of my activities in the 6 years that followed. The accounts I've been able to piece together show much of my time was spent in travel and study. I maintain a fanatical infatuation with the occult, delving deep into volumes concerning witch cults and dark legends, often in languages unfamiliar to my own. When I reawakened 5 months ago, exactly 6 years after entering that house in Boston, no trace was left of what had been a secondary personality. I was myself again, or at least what I believed myself to be. Return to normal life has been a painful process. In recent days, my dreams have been plagued by cosmic landscapes, and I've become fearful of my own reflection. I am beginning to remember things from that day, more than 6 years past, that I've told no one else. Jack Walters.
Hello, Mr. Walters. My name's Arthur Anderson. I need your help finding a missing person.
I don't take that kind of job.
Did you get my package?
Hold on.
Okay, what he essentially described as the plot of the book A Shadow Out of Time. Well, it's not really a book, it's a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. And it has a great dealing to do with the Yith. I don't know what's up with all these frame skips right now.
What exactly do you want from me, Mr. Anderson?
It's one of my store managers, you see. Brian's his name. Brian Burnham. Nice lad. He disappeared recently from the First National grocery store in Innsmouth.
Innsmouth? Never heard of it.
It's a small fishing town on the coast, not far from Arkham. I'd like to see you in person before you leave.
Hold on there a minute. I didn't agree to take this what the hell? I'll be here all day anyway.
But anyways, what happens in that short story is the protagonist of the story, he experiences exactly what our protagonist here just described. And what was actually happening was one of the great race of Yith, they're actually displaced time travelers. They're also telepathic and can swap their minds with other creatures. And what they do is they will do this with another creature, say a human, and they will use that human to research things at a certain point in time and on certain subjects. And in this case, it's the occult. And then they swap back, and while that's happening, the human is actually in their dimension, in the body of one of the Yith. But when they come back, it's generally so jarring that they forget. And A Shadow Out of Time is about the narrator discovering that, and I don't believe that is really expanded upon in this game. It just seems it just is putting out that if you've read the short stories, that our protagonist actually is very powerful mentally, that a Yith would want to inhabit him. So that's another couple of clues to our protagonist's true nature. New client, February 6, 1922. Night. I have a new client, Mr. Arthur Anderson, the regional manager of the First National grocery store chain. It appears that the First National grocery in Innsmouth was recently burglarized, and its manager, one Brian Burnham, is still missing. From what I have been able to gather, Burnham is something of a young rogue. A friend of the family, Mr. Anderson gave him the job as a favor. Burnham is looking like the prime suspect for the robbery, but there are a few things that don't add up, not to Anderson and not to me. For instance, why would Burnham force an entry into the store when he had a full set of keys, free access to the cash register, and the combination to the back office safe? To misdirect any investigation? If that was his plan, why did he disappear? Burnham is... Come on. Following my conversation with Mr. Anderson, I found out what I could about the ancient town of Innsmouth. For generations, the crumbling seaport and its people have been shunned by neighboring communities. Outsiders are unwelcome there, and there are superstitious tales of a strange element in the town's oldest families. They're of mixed blood, so the stories go. Whatever that's supposed to mean, the usual Hicktown prejudice, no doubt. Generally, when H.P. Lovecraft writes about mixed blood, H.P. Lovecraft was a product of his time, so he was very racially prejudiced, and what he counted as mixed blood is maybe a prominent white family that either married or bred with the, quote, lesser peoples, unquote, generally faraway island natives or people from the West Indies, I believe. Or even blacks, Hispanics. So that's what is actually meant by mixed blood in the realm of H.P. Lovecraft. After making a brief visit to Innsmouth, my client came away distrustful of the local authorities. He isn't buying their line that Burnham robbed the place and wants to know what happened to him. Only one bus goes to Innsmouth, and tomorrow afternoon I'll be on it. It feels good to have a purpose after 5 months of trying to break through my amnesia. I also feel a little apprehensive. Maybe it's the wild stories about the town, or maybe it's just because I haven't had a case in so long. And so begins an And so begins the part of this that is from the book A Shadow over Innsmouth. It's actually one of the longer short stories that H.P. Lovecraft wrote. And the bulk of this game takes place with you as the stand-in protagonist of that story. And it even expands upon it a little, and it actually expands upon it a lot later on. And then you mix in influences from another very short story called Dagon and a couple others. But the whole overarching story that goes over this one would be the story Call of Cthulhu. It's now February 7th, 1922.
Driver, how far to the stop?
Almost there. I'll drop you at the town square of Innsmouth.
Why lock the gates?
Keeps out wanderers looking for work. We don't want those folks like that interfering with our affairs.
Is the bus from Arkham always this empty?
Aye, and we prefers it that way. Not many come to Innsmouth.
But what about trade? Surely the port needs business.
Innsmouth has the means to look after her own.
And also, the prologue leading up to this actually formed, a lot of that was very important. Especially as we start getting a look at the people of Innsmouth.
This is it, stranger.
Because
the line.
essentially the game has to show you that the engine can do very normal people before it tries to convince the player of the Innsmouth look. And let us remember, normal people that we've seen in the beginning of the game, they look like normal people. What's that I hear? Like whispers on the wind. And then look at Joe Sargent here. He's very hunched over. He has an oddly discolored skin. His eyes are bulgy and they don't seem to blink. And his neck is covered up by a scarf. His hands are also very large and wide. And he's somewhat larger than normal people.
Could you direct me to the First National Grocery Store? I hear they have a shop in town.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, well, you see, I'm looking for a young lad called Brian Burnham. I'm a friend of the family. He worked in the store.
Don't know who you're talking about, fella.
I'm looking for Brian Burnham.
Can't help you.
Oh, his voice is odd. I mean, you could chalk up Joe Sargent's voice to, just being very hick-like, but that guy's voice is just odd. We are now in Chapter 1, A Visit to the Old Town. Okay, this looks like the inn.
It won't open.
There's a poorhouse.
The sign says, Innsmouth Poorhouse, in memory of Lady Warnes.
Innsmouth, to her sons who died for liberty.
This statue commemorates the men who fought in the Revolutionary War.
For some reason I experience a huge frame rate drop when I look in certain places. I think my computer's just being fidgety again, as it always is.
It won't open. It won't budge. Do you know the Burnham lad? He worked in the First National.
Can't rightly say as I know him.
Okay. This is actually very odd. You look pretty normal.
This town's deserted. Where is everybody?
Just leave me be, stranger.
These posters are everywhere.
Okay, here's the First National.
It's the First National grocery store.
I can get through there.
Stop! You can't come down here.
Actually, I want to talk to you.
The police clearly don't want me snooping around. I need to be more careful. It won't budge.
Okay, I guess we'll have to look around a bit. A lot of the rest of this episode is pretty much just going to be me exploring the outsides, the streets of Innsmouth here.
It won't budge.
What's down in here? What was that? You look normal. Who are you? Are you gonna let me talk to you? Apparently not.
Evening. The name's Jack Walters. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss...
Miss will do for now. Welcome to Innsmouth, Mr. Walters.
Thanks, I think.
Take my advice. Do what you must and then leave. Tonight. This port does not cater well to
You look like a
visitors.
visitor.
While I appreciate your concern, miss, I can handle lousy hospitality.
Very well, Mr. Walters.
This doll seems more open than some folks around these parts, but she isn't going to talk to me right now.
If I remember from the Let's Play I watched, I might actually know who that is. I just can't... I'm making the connection, but it's just
It
not
won't open.
coming to me right now. Whoa! There's a hanged woman in there.
Oh, God. Some poor soul's hung herself. Why the hell hasn't she been taken down? It's no wonder the town's deserted.
Hey. Apparently that does nothing. Looks like I'm wandering back.
Do you know the Burnham lad? He worked in...
Can't help you.
Hey, what are you doing?
Where is everybody? It's very quiet.
I can't be seen talking to you.
I'm looking for Brian Burnham.
Sorry, stranger. I can't help you.
Seems
Seems most of the normal people in this town are too frightened to tell me much of anything.
So we have to unravel this mystery. We have to find some way to get into the First National, which means probably sneaking past that police officer. But we're gonna leave that for next time. Gonna head in and save. There's a save point around here, I thought. Yeah, it's on the wall back here. Well, we certainly learned quite a bit in this episode. Well, we got a new case. We found out that after our excursion in that house, we got amnesia. Of course, out of game, I know quite a bit more about what was going on there, and I did explain it. But now we have this new case that's taken us to this town of Innsmouth. The people here, some of them look normal, some of them look very, very odd, like they've been stricken with some sort of physical malady. And nobody's willing to talk about, obviously, what's going on in what went on in the First National. Even the police seem to be against us, so we're gonna have to do some snooping around next time. But this is the Nighthammer, signing off.